In my opinion, it's not really an issue, but what we've got to be careful of is those regulations are now being shifted to the Health Act, which makes them permanent.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Joe Emilio Show. I'm your host, Joe Emilio. So, South Africa aims to lift the state of disaster by 5th of April 2022. The government wants to lift the state of disaster following the gazetting of new regulations aimed at guiding the country's ongoing response to the COVID-19 pandemic, Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Minister NDZ announced. Now, obviously, this has caused a lot of confusion. She said that the public only has 48 hours to comment. It's also unclear whether the new draft regulations will replace the previously released proposals. Does this mean that people have to comment twice now? What is going on? Well, Rob Hutchinson from Dear SA is joining me once again to clarify everything. So maybe you can just clarify to the audience and to the people watching and the public that are concerned at the moment about this. What exactly is going on? What is happening on the 5th of April? Let's just start there. What's happening on the 5th of April? Why is this all of a sudden important? Or, what's going on?
Well, apparently the disaster or the national state of disaster is being ended underneath the Disaster Management Act on the 5th of April. And obviously, when a piece of legislation is withdrawn, like the Disaster Management Act, the regulations that control the rollout and how that regulation is, how that piece of legislation is brought about and enforced, also have to be withdrawn. So that's the actual process there, and it ties in nicely with our court papers that we delivered to the minister some time back, which was an application to go to court to end the state of disaster. We gave the minister until the 25th of March to respond. She didn't respond, and then we sent another letter giving her 10 days to make a declaration or to respond or go to court. And that takes us, oddly enough, exactly to the 5th. So we can clearly join the dots there. Her hand has been forced here, and ending the state of disaster underneath the Disaster Management Act is on the cards. So, as I said, she has to withdraw the regulations that are housed under there, and that is what the 48-hour period that she has granted public comment on. In my opinion, it's not really an issue, but what we've got to be careful of is those regulations are now being shifted to the Health Act, which makes them permanent. Under the Disaster Management Act, everything is temporary, but under the Health Act, which is an existing piece of legislation and existing law, they become permanent.
So this whole thing that NDZ is doing now is just a red herring, a distraction.
Yeah,
and it has.
Yeah, I would say so. Yes.
All right, and I think an important thing to just quickly mention as well is how does this affect your current campaign now on the amendment or the commenting on the Amendment Health Act? I mean, you said that what we mentioned that she's given 48 hours. Does that affect it? Do people have to comment twice now? Does it affect your campaign in any way?
No, not in any way. In fact, I think it's actually done us a great favor. It's raised a lot of attention. Oddly enough, when government makes these weird decisions and they hope it will distract people, it does exactly the opposite. So it's created so much awareness. We've been absolutely flooded. We've combined the two together. There's really no comment needed on withdrawing the regulations from the Disaster Management Act. We all want that to happen anyway. So go ahead. We don't need to comment on that, but we do need to comment on shifting those same regulations underneath the Health Act, and that's where our focus is. So that's open until the 15th of April, and we have to get absolute mass participation on that. I'd say it's quite literally the most important campaign we've ever run as Dear South Africa, and there are many other organizations who have also launched initiatives, and great, the more the merrier, and the more people that comment and voice their opinion and raise the issues of permanent COVID regulations, the the stronger our action will be at the end of the day.
Well, yeah, it seems like you said, it's backfired, which is great. I mean, I checked yesterday the amount of signups or comments you've had, over 100,000 now. So, ladies and gentlemen, links in the description. Keep it going. Share, share, share. I've also linked the previous interview that I had with Rob when we go into more detail about this Amendment Health Act, or commenting on the Amendment Health Act, is linked in the description below, so please go check it out if you haven't yet, and share that as well. Rob, before we go, final question. Do you think this will be the last thing we see of the ANC? Like, in terms of like pulling a stunt like this, do you think this is part of their MO, or are they just desperate and scared now?
I think it's common practice, and I think we'll see a lot more of it, to be honest. We saw it, the exact same strategy and tactics applied right at the beginning of the lockdown, where Minister Dlamini Zuma also did. She amended the regulations and gave the public 48 hours to have their say on it. And that was for these cigarette and tobacco regulations. And then she said, and she presented to Parliament, that only 2,000 people had responded, and they'd all said, yes, let's ban cigarettes and tobacco. But luckily, we had run that participation event through our platform, and in 48 hours, we delivered 12,000 individual comments through to the minister, and we held proof of what the content was and the numbers thereof. And we could easily, and we stood up and we actually did dispute her claim of 2,000 people supporting it. So here we are again, exact same tactic. 48 hours, placing confusion and stress and panic amongst the citizens, and I've no doubt they'll continue to do this. But that's why we're here. We provide the truth and the opportunity for people to actually make a difference.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, all the links in the description. Go give your comment. Very important. Share, share, share. And yeah, you have until the 15th of April. Rob, is there anything you want to say in closing?
Yeah, I think really, please go have your say. This is literally the most important issue of our times. These regulations are simply being moved over. They become permanent. And remember, we fought right throughout the lockdown to have the ridiculous regulations withdrawn. Open-toed shoes and warm chicken and curfews and everything else. And they've just simply reinstated all of those regulations under an existing law, which makes it rather more difficult to challenge once it's been signed in. However, we've been granted an opportunity by government to have a say on this, and it's really, really important that you do. If we get mass participation, and I'm talking hundreds of thousands of people having their say, then we have a significant, we have a battleship instead of a speedboat, so we can take something on here seriously.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope this clarifies everything. All you need to know is that basically what NDZ announced is just a red herring, a distraction. We've seen this before. So, ladies and gentlemen, go to the link in the description, comment, share it, do what you need to do. Even if you don't like this video, even if you don't subscribe to this channel, please just share this video. We need as many South Africans as possible to comment. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe, be kind to one another, and I'll see you at the next one. Cheers.